Welcome back, everybody. We're live, and it's time for another day of G1 League action. It's a triple header today. It's going to be Liquid versus Kaipi. We just got done casting the replays of Fnatic versus Kaipi, and unfortunately, Kaipi, they pushed Fnatic to the brink, but they couldn't finish the deal, so they've dropped down to the losers bracket of the G1 League North American European qualifiers. I'm LD. I'm joined by Luminous, and they will now have to duke it out with a tough, a staunch opponent. It comes in the form of Team Liquid. Lumi, how you doing?
I am doing good, but I am absolutely torn right now because I think in the opening cast of the Western Qualifier between Gods and myself, he basically asked me, what is the two teams that you want to see go through? Not by strength, but just, you know, you want the two teams that go to China. I said Kaipi, I said Team Liquid, because the captains of these two teams, or not captains, but Eternal Envy and Fluff and Stuff are two people that I really respect as their players, and, you know, I want them to win, but after this best of three, one will be going home, and one will at least fight to have a better chance to go to China.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting match. I know for you, you're torn because of your personal connections to the players. I'm torn simply because both of these teams have been playing pretty well for me. Liquid, they definitely had an underwhelming performance versus EG in this particular tournament. But over the past month, Liquid has been one of the best teams in the West, and unfortunately for them, this is a crucial tournament. Of course, those International 3 invites, you got to figure more are coming soon, with IG being the first team to get the tap, to get the nod. No surprises there, but teams like Liquid and Kaipi in the conversation, but I don't feel anyone is guaranteed an invite. And your performance at a prestigious tournament like the G1 League with so much at stake, with a LAN finals in China, $60,000+ in prize money available, that's a lot. And if you make a compelling statement, if you have signature wins and secure a spot in those LAN finals, dare I say it, you haven't necessarily guaranteed your trip to the International 3, but it's got to go a long way. You got to figure Valve is watching and Valve is listening very closely to these games. With that being said, Lumi, draft now underway. What do you think so far? We see some signature heroes, the Clockwork for Bulba, coming out, and I got to say I like it for Liquid. Pretty standard so far, but yeah, what do you think?
Pretty standard, mostly for the Clockwork. Bane Elemental, I don't think Team Liquid picks too much, but I feel like it actually works very well against the playstyle of Kaipi, simply because they just give Eternal Envy one carry, and they expect mostly from him to actually carry through. They don't generally run dual cores too much. They run mostly other utility heroes. Sometimes they put the Magnus mid, but all of the damage really comes out from that solo carry. And having a Bane Elemental too says, I either enfeeble you, or I grip you, or I put you in sleep during a team fight. That is the good answer. And I think Kaipi is forced to go into the Phantom Lancer. I say forced to, despite having Callopia, which is, you know, the bane of Dota combo in existence. But I feel like Callopia has mostly been figured out lately. You could easily beat him. You just have to have clear game objective. Take out, let's say, tier 1 towers by 10 minutes. Take out tier 2 towers by the 20-minute mark, and basically snowball out of control. Because Phantom Lancer, not exactly the most powerful hero early on.
Lumi, your mic is having a little bit of hiss, crackle, and pop, and unfortunately, we're not eating any cereal here, so not sure if it's moving around. Lumi's in a bit of a temporary setup since the house is busy. The house is occupied. We'll have a permanent setup for him soon, guys, but I do apologize for any audio issues. You can blame me. You can fire me, of course. But with that being said, I like this from Kaipi simply because it's what they've been doing and it's what's worked for them. Getting the Keeper of the Light, the Phantom Lancer, arguably pretty much the strongest late game path you can go right now in Dota 2 if you can get there. And then you followed up with Magnus, the strongest late game initiator. I mean, Clockwork is some argument for that just because Hook comes from really far away, but nothing beats that massive AoE stun of an RP and the Empower buff as well in the PL. So for Liquid, I feel they could risk falling into that trap that we've seen from Na'Vi in the past. When they played against Mouse and We Play, Na'Vi played confidently, gave away the Kotal PL to Black and his team, and they punished it. So maybe it's something where Kaipi, they get this combo, and sure, Liquid could look to deal with it. They've got the aggressive heroes that can punish it, but it's just a combo where you can't really screw up too much. If you do, doesn't matter if you have a good start. That can quickly evaporate, and your comeback options will be limited the longer the game goes.
Yeah, I think you were actually talking about Kotal PL as a combo yesterday. I think during the Na'Vi Dignitas matchup, one of the team were trying to pick it up the combo. And one thing that you mentioned I thought was very, very correct was that it's not just a hero. Execution is very, very important. And just from the replay cast that we saw from Fnatic versus Kaipi, Kaipi's execution wasn't, I want to say, it's too spectacular. There were slight mistakes here and there, and allowed Fnatic to get a pretty, in my opinion, pretty much an easy win. So Kaipi not looking at tip-top condition, at least in my personal opinion. And you got to play this combo well because people definitely figure out Keeper of Light. You just go in against him and he's dead. Clockwork is a hero to go in with, and Lifestealer plus any other mass mobile hero like the Puck, like the Queen of Pain, will allow you to get right there and get a quick kill and start that team fight. And that's why you see Kaipi banning out those heroes. There's also Storm left, and they do ban him out as well.
Yeah, some respect towards Korok, as well as just recognizing for this Liquid draft, there's no Korok hero picked up. So pretty standard, pretty easy, and they won't have those easy partners for the Lifestealer. So I like that from Kaipi, but I completely agree with you. This is a lineup for Kaipi. If they execute it well, it will be very difficult for Liquid. But at the same token, it's easy to start slipping with a hero like Keeper of the Light. If you have a bad start, Lifestealer finds you, you're dead. Clockwork finds you, you're dead. Bane finds you, you're probably dead in the mid game. So pretty much anyone finds you, you're dead. It'll be very important for Kaipi not to get caught out, to have great wards up as well, and especially when you want to set up some big Illuminates, assuming Liquid does go offensive tri-lane, which, well, we expect it from Liquid, we expect it from this kind of an aggressive draft. So the rest of the way, Prophet, going to be banned out by Liquid. A hero that they like to run, but they've already got Bulbous here on the Clockwork, so not too surprising at that.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid right now is trying to attack the off-lane hero of Kaipi. There's not too many good off-lane hero left anymore. Prophet is gone. Lone Druid is in the pool. I'm not sure exactly if Kaipi has a really good Lone Druid player. And what are the other good off-lane heroes? Darkseer's gone as well. Clockwork's picked up. So I guess Windrunner is an option, but nowadays most off-lanes, you want heroes that could go into the jungle if that off-lane gets really, really hampered down. And so far, I'm not sure what Kaipi's option is. I guess it's just a Lone Druid right now. Unless they want to do something other, some other crazy hero.
It's not a bad option. You get a Lone Druid, and what Liquid has right now, Lifestealer can be a real problem for the Lone Druid, but that's only if you're trying to lane against him. If you're an off-lane Lone Druid, you're pretty much just going to be pulling the creeps a lot, and potentially even get that 1v1 if Liquid decides to go aggressive. So I think you do want to look towards Lone Druid here. It discourages Liquid from the aggressive tri-lane. They won't go for it now, but I imagine something they'll look to pick up is that final selection if Liquid doesn't snag it out from under them. Instead, they go Rubik. So getting not necessarily the strongest head-on clashing tri-lane, but a tri-lane that in a war of attrition is going to have the edge. So for Liquid, those first few clashes going to be absolutely crucial that they get them, and they get them right. They have to find kills, and they have to get out cleanly.
But if Kaipi picks up Lone Druid, their early game is going to be absolutely crap. I mean, PL's not exactly excelling early game. Sure, he could pick up a couple kills if the supports are out of position, but come 15 minutes in, Lone Druid's going to maybe have an armlet, maybe, if he has good enough farm, which from the offlane I don't think he will. And then Phantom Lancer maybe have drums and shreds or something like that. So it's a very weak early game, and right now Kaipi's already getting pretty greedy with how they want to draft. So I'm not sure whether Kaipi wants it, and Team Liquid left it in the pool. Like they're like saying you could have it if you want it. I just don't think Kaipi could have that good early game that they need if they pick up the Lone Druid.
Problem is Liquid would love to get it, I think. Looking at this game right now, I mean, potentially it's your third core, right? So I guess you expect Bulba to be on the Clockwork. You expect a TC Lifestealer. That could go into the tri-lane, and I mean, well, then I guess it would be a Korok Lone Druid if they decide to run it, which sounds a little bit... or maybe even have Korok on the Lifestealer. So I feel like they have some ways that they could look to run this where maybe it's not a player played his standard role, but a Druid would be strong in this game because you're up against the lineup for Kaipi that is going to be good at turtling. Even if they have a slow start, they still always have Illuminate, Shockwave, Fade Bolt, and Lance Spam to fall back on. So to counter that, you want a hero that doesn't really care, and Lone Druid is a hero that really doesn't.
Yeah, he's going to get slowed down by things like Purge, as well as Blinding Light, and multiple Shockwave. Telekinesis Lift is not that bad either, but for the most part, he runs it, he has his armlet regen turned on, and he's going to maul down your tower. And right now, that's what Team Liquid need in terms of a way to actually get up that high ground. I don't foresee Team Liquid having difficulty getting the 6 outer tier towers because they have so much kind of initiation, they could burst down heroes very quickly. There's a Lone Druid pickup, and well, Kaipi doesn't think that it's going to hurt the early game that much, and we'll see how it's going to work out. I'm a little bit dubious, but we'll see.
I mean, again, it goes back to what I was saying. I definitely agree with you that it gives them an offlane who doesn't really fight, right? Lone Druid, he pushes, he kind of chips away at you. Maybe find some entangles in a small-scale engagement, but it's not a Magnus, it's not a Beastmaster. He doesn't go and get you kills. He doesn't directly create a ton of space for PL, but when you look at Liquid's draft, you expect a tri-lane, and probably an aggressive one at that, which means Lone Druid gets a 1v1. Can be a tough matchup if it's 1v1 versus Lifestealer. We've actually seen Lifestealer just crush Lone Druid 1v1 because if you try to harass him with the bear, he just hits it back. And with Feast, you get so much HP from it, you basically don't even take damage, and the bear dies. I've seen TC in particular dominate that 1v1 matchup before, so I mean, Kaipi may be thinking, well, we're going to get a 1v1 for a lone druid, but if it will even be effective against the lifesteal remains to be seen. And they go for the TA here, so I mean, interesting to see what they're going to do, but I won't be surprised if it's a trailing clock and just a lifestealer solo, because I feel like the lifestealer can actually dominate the lone druid, whereas the clockwork, he gets levels, he gets farm, but he doesn't really prevent the lone druid from getting his own. Lifestealer can.
I think you're absolutely on point. If that's how the lane's going to match up, lifestealer is going to have the advantage against lone druid, and Templar Assassin is going to do fine against Magnus on the mid lane. Magnus is going to have the empower, and that's going to be able to... We saw this matchup yesterday, I think, between Dendi as well as... Snake? No, not Snaking. Snaking, I believe.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Yeah. So I think that matchup's going to be somewhat even. I think Kaipi should actually switch the matchup. Just say Lone Druid, you're going to go mid against Templar Assassin. I think Lone Druid wins that matchup, in fact. And then Magnus, good luck up top against Lifestealer. I think that should be the matchup, but we'll see how Kaipi lanes it.
Yeah, it looks like the Lone Druid Bear at least headed top. So speaking of which, let's introduce Kaipi. We've got Bone7 going to be handling that Lone Druid offlane. The Bear sitting on a stout shield for the moment, and towards the mid lane we'll have a Rise playing the solo mid Magnus. Now Lumi, in that Fnatic series, his Magnus was not really pristine. He'll have to hit some good RPs, because looking at their lineup, they don't really have any other big team fight, at least as far as disables go, aside from him. So it's a game where Magnus can't make too many big mistakes, has to land those RPs. Pylai Die gonna be on the Rubik right now, not sitting on a whole lot of regen. Zizo gonna be handling the Keeper of the Light and our defensive Charlie, and last but not least, it's for the anime. Or for anime, Eternal Envy. A man after your own heart. He's been pulled quite a bit, started with a poor man's shield.
Envy needs to carry hard today to have a chance against Team Liquid. Meanwhile, speaking of Team Liquid, TC pulled a little bit of regen here as he started with Tango Stout as well as a Quelling Blade. It's going to be doing quite a bit of last hitting up top here on the Lifestealer. On the mid lane here, it's going to be Korok playing the Templar Assassin. No quick bottle rush, got an extra circlet. Meanwhile, on the bot lane here, we're going to see Fluff and Stuff playing Lina. It's a hero that he's very, very familiar with, so those LSAs, it's going to land, especially with the help of IX Mike's Bane Elemental setup. Most likely starting out with Nightmare, although it might be sometimes Enfeeble start. We'll have to wait and see. And last but not least, Boba, one of his signature heroes, the Clockwork.
So Tri-Lane Clock, something that we saw out of LGD International. I keep on mentioning them because a lot of the cool stuff they came up with at G-League, we've seen permeated into the Western scene. Some of it has lingered, so the Clockwork Tri-Lane, I think they were the first team I saw run it, and it's a great combo. You start with the sleep, you walk in, you cog the hero, you stun them, and then you bring them down very quickly. To start, Hulk start by cogging some creeps. He'll let one through. Pretty much the standard way that Boba plays this as a solo. We'll see him doing a similar thing as a part of the tri-lane. So the Lone Druid Beer being a nuisance top for TC. Lone Druid not really last hitting in the lane. It's going to force TC to do a little bit of last hitting, potentially under his tower, or just even, well, maybe he'll just do a free creep pull at that. So we'll see both heroes getting some levels in farm. Once the Druid stops pulling the creeps, that's where the lane gets hard, but I think this is a smart way to play it. Just prevent TC from getting near your bear. Then he can't hit it. Sure, you're not going to stop him from farming, but at least you're not feeding that bear gold away.
Yeah, you gotta make that pull every time that you can, because when you don't, your bear is gonna take a ton of damage, and it's basically a free fountain for that lifesteal up top. He could just oh, I need a tango amount of heal. Yeah, let's.
It really is.
Yeah, it's just like he would never remove him from the lane. Me on the bot lane here, you gotta look towards the D-War, which has already happened here by Zizal. Gotta make sure that you get those pulls. Gotta make sure you get those stacks, and for this Kaipi tri-lane, you just play defensive and make sure that Eternal Envy gets farmed. That's your only goal. If you could get some levels on your supports, that's just bonus.
Yeah, and they're going to have a good start to playing defensively, which is they got the D-wards out. So Zizo, he'll have free reign to actually spam Illuminate, and Liquid will try to go in right now, posturing, pressing forward, but not able to quite find the opening, and well, we'll see top lane, just TC whacking on that bear, already 8-0, and you can see how quickly the bear drops, even with a stout shield. Really doesn't matter. That feast damage, very scary. And the mid lane, I doubt anyone's going to die here. We'll just see a lot of bottle crowing for the Magnus and the TA, who actually needs the runes or the regen quite a bit as well. And should be a fairly defensive lane for the moment. Korok definitely having a big edge, 7 and 6. So I would say probably the most even of the lanes, but oh, bottom lane, looking for a go now. They'll find Pylai Die. They'll sleep him. They'll cog him. This could easily be our first blood. The sleep actually taken by Fluff and Stuff. Ooh, is it going to matter? 5-second cog saying no, it doesn't. And down will go in the end. So Liquid, they strike first. That's the one hero that just cannot get caught, the Rubik, because he's the one who helps them disengage if someone does get caught, but he does Lumi. And down they go. Easy first blood for Liquid. Something Kaipi couldn't afford to give up and really should have been a little bit more defensive with.
Going back to what we said during the draft, it doesn't matter if you have Kato PL. It comes down to executions. You cannot give away those free kills. I did quickly call that Fluff and Stuff, perhaps made a mistake on Nightmare. Take that back. He just wanted to take the Nightmare away so that his team could start working on that kill, and that's exactly what happened there. So Eternal Envy gotta pick it up here in terms of the CS chart as well. And oh, here comes a little bit more initiation. Pally died. There's gonna be initiation coming back. Quick take back here from Zizo to dispel the nightmare, and that should be Eternal Envy is gonna take a little bit of cog harassment. But he should be fine.
That was a 3-hero cog, and even though it didn't catch the heroes, it mana burned all 3. So that's what I mean when I say a 3-hero cog. Suddenly, they're the ones who are having mana issues, and for Liquid, they don't get the kill, but Envy he's getting decent farm. 12 and 3, not too bad, but you look at TC top lane, again, pressuring the bear, even open woundsing it, looking to bring it down very, very low. Bone 7 already had to resummon it, and I think TC may have gotten the gold for it. If he didn't get the gold for it, he definitely got the experience, so, I mean, just tough right now for Bone 7.
Yeah, I was watching this lane a little bit, and generally I don't talk about last hit at this high-level game, because you assume most pro players have very, very good last hit, but Bone 7 was missing a couple last hits on that very, very first pull in front of his tower, and obviously TC was 8-0 on the first 2 wave, so, I mean, it just, this kind of small play here and there will allow TC to go phase boot very, very quickly, and I don't think Bone 7 will win this lane after that, so Bone 7 sending the bear back for heal, and that means his last hitting capability is already cut in half. For a long time. Yeah,
thing is for Liquid, they get that first blood bottom. Envy's farming alright, but Liquid have 2 big damage dealers in the mid game. The Lifestealer and potentially the vehicle for that Lifestealer in this TF Korok, who's going on Arise now. Arise will skewer Korok into the tower, but Korok don't care. Keeps on hitting. Arise driven back. And that's a lot of damage off the bat.
Power only being bounced off of those refreshing charges here. In Power, being used as a clockwork, as he should. Arise having a very, very difficult time despite bottle crawling. I don't expect a kill coming out of this lane, although if Arise is not careful enough.
Not again. Not again with the cogs. The sleep was taken off by Zizo, but too late. Just a second or so with that, and now Pylite caught those 5-second cogs doing work, and now one more Dragon Slave, a rocket, bleeds up the kill. Fluff, though, may go down, so they get a trade. Envy doesn't get the kill, though. It does go to Zizo, the Keeper of the Light. One more Lance is available. He's given the mana. The chase is on. Forces out a salve, but in the end, oh, Illuminate. Not quite enough. Does hit, too. A lot of damage done, and that's the one thing for Kaipi, is they may give up some early kills, but in the war of attrition, they're still going to come out on top, and 1 for 1 there. I don't think they're super happy about it, but Envy gets some kill experience, gets a little assist gold, and he doesn't die.
Yeah, and that's the key thing. He cannot die, and he's going to be in the lane mostly fine. When you're going against a Phantom Lancer trialing, you got to really check his mana pool, because the Phantom Lance has a very, very low cooldown. He could check out 2 or even 3 in a long chasing engagement. Has a long cast range as well. So a good thing that Fluff and stuff and his team didn't lose too much.
This is going to be a death of Bone 7 unless he has some amazing jukes, but he actually will manage to dodge the stun, and with that, he's going to live, I think. TC, no phase boots. He went for the early Helm of Iron Will. And I've seen him do this before. It just lets him, I guess, be more aggressive under the tower, trait a little bit more effectively at the Lone Druid, and maximizes the speed at which he can get the armlet. But if he had phase boots there, that would be a kill on Bone 7, even with the missed stun. So one of the downsides to his build. But we'll see the upside later with a very early armlet likely to come out.
Yeah, I assume he's going to be going for some sort of a more of a later build with maybe treads. Instead, can't tab the bear, so having a little bit of control issues. And right now, Kaipi, I don't want to say they're in a horrible position, but they're down by 1,500 gold in 5 minutes, and that's a start I expected. This is why I didn't want to see Lone Druid up top, because he's a hero that if your bot trialing's having issues, which it is right now, he can't actually do anything to help. That's the problem with that particular hero, and it basically says, all right, everybody, every man for himself, good luck, hopefully you win the lane. If you don't win the lane, well, you gotta stick it out. That's the issue with these heroes being drafted by Kaipi.
That being said, they haven't lost towers yet, and Liquid, for the moment, are going to back off of that defensive trialing. They didn't end up getting the kill in the Lone Druid, and sure, Fluff may pull now, but that's pressure relieved from Envy, who will start to catch up in his farm with basically nothing standing between him and those creeps. So, all things considered, I would say I completely agree with you. They're not having a good start. They're going to fall behind, but as long as they hold on to towers, I think they're in decent shape.
They're okay for now. Yeah, they're definitely okay. Korok, let's quickly check out how he's doing in terms of farm. Curse coming in, I imagine it's going to be phase boot. Yeah, it's phase boot, match 1 upgrade. So all the small things being picked up. My question is he going to stay in lane and keep on farming and basically shut down a Rise like that? Or is he going to start looking for a little bit of gank? I think you stay in farm because your other lanes are doing quite alright. You don't really need to pressure. You don't really need to gank. You just want to make sure that the Arcane and Blink Dagger don't come too soon.
Yeah, for Liquid, it's pretty much like this. You want to get level 6 on your Clockwork. You want to get the Blink Dagger on Korok, or at least that next item, something like a Yasha, a Drums, depending on what direction he wants to take his build. And once you have those basic core items that allow you, and levels that allow you to take fights, maybe you wait for Fiend's Grip, but that's quite a ways off, as Spike is only level 2 right now. I think that's when you look to get aggressive, but with no hook, it would be kind of silly to force the issue, especially when Magnus is level 6, so if you try to dive, you don't have hook to quickly secure a kill, all of a sudden, maybe a Rise shows up and turns the fight, and that's the other good news is for Kaipi, if Liquid are doing that, then for the moment, Magnus gets to farm his Blink, his Arcanes, and he'll need the time to do it, because he's not CSing particularly well, only 28 CS, 7.5 minutes in, you compare that to Korok, 44 for him, so Liquid, I think they're fine to sit back and farm, and I believe we'll see it for probably 3 to 5 minutes, and then the aggression's going to ramp up.
Yeah, and for now, Kaipi's actually doing a very, very good job. They literally have 5 people farming the map. The 2 junglers pulling, tunneling, just farming every single camp, and obviously all the solos in their respective lane farming away as well. And comparatively to Team Liquid, they have supports that are kind of roaming around, but they're not really doing too much. They're not finding gank. Boba's going to venture into jungle, but it's going to back out. So right now, Team Liquid, like you said, need to farm up a little bit, but they got to respect the farming power of Kaipi as well. And really can't give away the lead that they have worked so hard to gain so far.
They do have a very fat lifestealer. TC, already the treads complete, the Helm of Iron Will, our lead farmer this game. Here comes your Infest Bomb. Who needs Blink Dagger when you've got Haster and Korok on the chase? Trap number 1 deployed. Fluff looking for a stun. The ult is there from the Lone Druid. It buys him a bit of time, but it won't be enough. In fact, Envy, you mentioned before how he loves to carry that early TP, and we'll see it here. Korok, though, can he actually bring him down? No refraction. He'll wand up. Now he's got it, and Envy is wasting a lot of time and not finding kills. The Magnus will go down. RP was deployed, but didn't accomplish a thing. Now a Sentry Ward for Envy. The hunt is on. Down he'll go. Insult to injury. They lose all 3 cores, and they get nothing in return.
They might
In
lose
fact,
a little bit more. Paladin's on the run, but you can't really run from a Templar Assassin. Open Wound's gonna come, and that's a 4 for nothing up on the top lane. I really thought Kaipi, if they just sat and farm, and if you gave away Lone Druid, you gave away Lone Druid, but now they give away a lot more. I think Eternal Envy making that TP against other carry heroes is going to be fine, but not against a Lifestealer as well as a Templar Assassin. They just shook off those lances, either through Rage or Refraction, and they come right back, and they really killed them quite easily. So a ton of, that's 3 or 4 teleports to go down the drain, that's 3 or 4 kills going towards Team Liquid, and this gold graph is going to reflect that. They're lucky that they didn't lose tier 1 up top. They could have easily.
you know what's crazy is Bulba wasn't there, and Bulba's their big team fight initiator. They don't have the Blink on the TA yet, but Korok showing that a Hasterin is as good, if not better, than a Blink in those fights and find some early kills. Now, all of a sudden, he's got the money if he wants to go for an early Blink, which I think it's a great game for it. You got a hook on Bulba, you have a Blink Dagger lifesteal, you can bring all 3 of those huge damage output heroes, those tanky heroes as well, into the midst of the fight, and the backlines of Kaipi are very squishy. You talked about it earlier in the draft. Keeper of the Light, he gets jumped by even one of those heroes, let alone 2, he's dead. Same is going to go for the Rubik. Even the Lone Druid, if he's caught in range for him, can easily die, and we saw the power of their combo to bring him down there, so if I'm Liquid, I think I get the Blink Dagger and Korok, and I just keep the aggression flowing. And, you know, you find a kill or 2, you finally get those towers down, and then you can look towards Roche. With Meld and with a lifesteal, you can take this Roche extremely early. And with that being said, we'll see Bone 7 up top. Just trying to get what farm he can. Level 8 for the moment. Korok back at base. 2,000 gold up on him. We'll teleport to the top lane. They have an Observer Ward placed behind the tower. This one was dropped down, I believe, by Fluff and stuff. Indeed it was, in the midst of that chaos, as Ix Mike wasn't even there. And they're going to look to push this top lane. They're giving some farm and levels to Bulba. He's not level 6. No TP up on him. We'll see if he goes for one soon. And there's your Blink of Korok. So already Blink picked up, and Fest Bomb on the way. And they're going to look to pressure this top lane. There might be an RP, but even if there is, no mana for it, so no RP available. And Bone 7, he's actually in range for him. Now he'll try to transform, but he's dead in the blink of an eye. Maybe would have lived an extra hit or 2 at least. Fluff taking a lot of Illuminate damage, but Zizo now revealed his position, and he's in trouble. There's your Laguna Blade, there's your Meld Crit. Korok quickly getting out of control this game. 5-0-1 is the score. 8-1, the overall score for the team, and a 5,000 gold lead. About a 4,000 experience lead right now for Liquid, in full control of this game. And they get that first tower, but you gotta figure a few more are coming soon.
Yeah, normally you say that you have Kato, you have PL. The objective is to knock down tier 1 towers by the 10-minute, knock down tier 2 towers by the 20-minute mark. And if you're like a Kaipi fan, you say, alright, so far we only lose 1 tower, but right now the team has lost so many heroes, I want to say for free as well, that the gold graph is just completely on the one side of Team Liquid. That means quick mech for the support heroes. We saw Laguna Blade coming out fluff in that engagement. I didn't even think he was level 6. Now he's level 7. So the supports are hitting some key levels. And it's not like they pulled. It's not like they were, farming away like the Radiant support. They just got 3 kills from the previous engagement and now this particular one. That they're so far ahead. And what we saw from yesterday between Dignitas and Na'Vi is that once a team gets ahead, they generally don't look back because the supports are generally so much more farmed compared to the enemy team support. Korok may be a little bit in trouble in the middle lane. RP is going to be used, but he has to refresh it.
I don't know if they can even kill him.
Well, there's a teleportation comes in. Do they have detection? That's the question. They don't. So RP is going to be used, and that's more...
And they're going back in. They're going the other way. No RP, great. We're going to come in, and we're going to face rush it. Korok melding actually under the tower. Maybe try to dodge a shot, but in too close. In fact, ahead the vision. Doesn't matter. The little fluff and stuff jumps in. Tosses out a Laguna Blade. Quick, easy kills. I actually can't believe they went for that, because they had vision of Korok. They had to have known he had the Invis root, and he'll go in again. He wants some more. Doesn't quite find the meld shot there. Pylite dies low. There's a root on Korok as well. He'll at least have to back after this. I don't think they can actually kill him. Envy will even TP in. Forced off of that bottom lane, and now Liquid say, great, we're going to look to take a tower, and Korok's still on the run. I don't think they can kill him, Lumi. That's another TP from Envy. Another one that, unfortunately for him, maybe he keeps a teammate alive, but he doesn't actually find kills, and the way this game is developing, it's going to be Envy against 5, and TPs like that, not going to help him to win that 1v5.
Yeah, if you get a kill like that, then it's all good, right? But it's one of those high-risk, high-reward kind of thing, and so far, twice in the game, he was not rewarded. In fact, he was punished the first time by dying even once. So Tier 1 tower looking to be in big trouble as well, as you can't really run in against these 2 heroes. You run in, they rage, or they pop off their melds and refraction, and you got to turn back. So right now,
is it Roche
we're 10
time?
minutes in. What's that?
Is it Roche time? They just got the Tier 1 mid. They might be thinking about it.
They definitely can. I feel like you definitely can
go
with Roche time. In fact, you do so. Yeah, Maelstrike definitely give you the minus armor. TC's doing a ton of right-click damage. Does have an armlet, does have the treads. And I think once you pick up the Aegis, you just look to siege a Tier 2 towers, pick it up very, very quickly, and then you just play Starvation Dota. Make sure that Bone does not get far, make sure Envy doesn't get far, and you just slowly go into the base. Now, they're not exactly really too good at taking high ground, but you have such a big level advantage that you just blink it when Infest Bomb, and that should be enough to do it, especially if you have Aegis on the back you up.
You know what's crazy? If there's been a hook this game, I haven't seen it. Boba has basically been, I don't want to say a non-factor, but not nearly the presence that he often is on his Clockwork, where he's hooking everybody from everywhere on the map. He's barely been needed this game.
Oh, top is dead. Link coming in. Where's the Infest Bomb? They see Paladai. Paladai basically gets 3 or 4 hit, and now the bear TP's out, which is, Envy's on the run as well. I think it's time for Envy to farm the enemy jungle, because his own jungle is not safe. I think he might be saving for Relic. Radiance is not exactly a good item build on Phantom Lancer, but against the Templar Assassin with Refraction, maybe this is one of the few games you go for it. Meanwhile, you talked about Boba not being a factor. Well, he answers quickly back as he gets a kill.
Makes me eat my words. And with that, didn't even need a hook, looks like. So, pretty easy kill picked up there. IXMike did deploy the Fiend script. There's no Blink Dagger in sight. And this was actually the exact same issue that Kaipi had in Game 3 versus Fnatic, where Arise could just not farm the Blink. I think it was even like 22 minutes in. He was still trying to find the gold for it, kept on getting picked off. And it seems like that might be the same story this game, Lumi. Where are you going to go to farm that Blink right now? It's only really Envy who's getting any kind of space to farm, and it's, let's be honest, not that great space with that. Sure, he's got ADCS, but he's been TPing to fights. His farm isn't as good as it could be. His jungle is now not available to him, and that's what Phantom Lancer really excels at. It's not even farming in the lane or pushing the lanes. It's quickly farming the jungle with the Quelling Blade and the early agility, and they're going to go in now, looking for Zizo, and now he's caught behind the tower. Korok will bring him down. Unstoppable indeed. Making it look easy at that, and Envy, he'll run. He may go find some anime books in the jungle, but I'm not sure he's going to find many creeps.
There's no anime books in the jungle as well, which is making him quite sad. He's going to TP away to safety. He's gone for Yasha, which is the fastest farming item that you could possibly hope for. And again, you could have all the farming item you could ask for on a Phantom Lancer, but if there's nowhere to farm, if there's nowhere safe to farm, well, you're not going to get.
It's just not practical. I could have a Caterpillar here. I could have a huge tractor trailer. Whatever sort of farming equipment I want. I don't got no lands, man. I can't farm. And right now for Envy, I don't think he can either. IXMike's going to spot him out. Drops a Sentry Ward. Looking for a sleep. We'll find it now. But actually, there's no backup, so IXMike in a little bit of a pickle. In comes Bulba looking for a hook, perhaps. TC, on the hunt as well. Arise is stalking him. Can they maybe kill off TC under this tower? It's going to be tough. They'll need to skewer him in, but the rage goes off from TC. Arise, he walked forward, then he walked back, and now a feed script from long range. Picks up Envy. He'll die under the shadow of his tier 3. The chase is on. Arise gets caught towards the infest damage of TC, and down he'll go, and now Pylai die. Next in line. Off with their head, says Korok. He wants some kills. Kaipi in all kinds of trouble. Game 1 looks to be all but just done. This looks like a dead team walking to me, Lumi. I don't see any fight left in Kaipi in Game 1.
I don't even want to give them the benefit of doubt of walking. They're like limping away, and they're not even getting away as Korok comes in.
That's a team wipe in your base at 18 minutes.
Yeah.
17 and a half minutes.
Still up. Don't matter. I guess the only thing that Kaipi can say right now is to say, well, we're not mouse for. At least we got 1 kill. As yesterday was almost as brutal as this one done by Lions. I think it's almost time to tap out for Kaipi and think about Game 2 because you're so far down behind. It doesn't matter if you have Lone Druid or the Phantom Lancer. There's no way that Team Liquid, as good as they are to give away a game like that, where they have such a big goal lead and experience lead.
The only thing that could save Kaipi right now, I feel, is if Cyborg Matt is on their team and he starts spawning Roshans. Aside from that, I'm just not seeing it. Now, they'll probably go on to win this game and make me look silly, but really, by all accounts, it should be over. You're down 15,000 gold, 15,000 experience. At 18 minutes in, the score is 18-1, so for Kaipi, perhaps they're planning for Game 2. Now remember, Lumi, it is an elimination match. This is a loser bracket match, so you can lose this one game, that's okay, but if you lose the series, you go home. And for Liquid and Kaipi, both of these teams, even if they're down in a match, we'll see them fight almost until the bitter end, and if not until the throne is actually dead, because if there's ever even that 1% chance, with a trip to China, a lot of prize money, a lot of prestige on the line, you don't want to give up before you're absolutely out of it.
Yeah, and that's why Eternal Envy says, alright, can't farm anywhere, gonna go into the enemy jungle. This is one of the last, but perhaps one of the safest places that he could farm right now, and, you know, the Phantom Lancer is a quick
Meanwhile,
with the
bottom lane, Bone 7's gonna get caught out. Feed script brought down very easily by 3 heroes. Envy is farming, but Liquid is farming heroes.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the issue here with Phantom Lancer. He doesn't do anything till much later. And is he even trying to cut off the creep wave to get his team a little bit of assistance? Is he going for the curse?
Oh,
I don't know
Envy.
what to do right
that
now.
Was cute.
Just go far, my friend. Just go far.
He's trying to be creative, trying to pull every little trick he can out of his hat, and you know, things like killing the courier. Maybe it's got. Oh, speaking of killing couriers, Korok is gifted one. First, they got that 3+1. Bonus steal where they just found the Rubik as the last hero top lane when the 3 cores died, and then it was 1 more to follow. Now they get a little extra bonus, so Kaipi really sweetening the deal for Liquid with all these kills, with the courier kill now on top.
Yeah, I don't think his sweet talk, no matter how much honey you whisper into Fluff and stuff here, I don't know. Right now, Team Liquid is looking to break high ground, and there's nothing that any hero on the Radiant side could do. I mean, Keeper of Light is traditionally a very
Arise!
good so, but the blink initiation of Rise is immediately dead. Trap's gonna go on Bone 7, but is he gonna make it out alive? Here comes Boba as well. The big Illuminate not gonna do anything. Look at these Mel Strikes, and there's a call catching Zizzle. Zizzle's gonna be dead. Rise says, GG go next. And that's gonna be it. That's all she wrote for this game. 20-minute GG.
21-1. Who's the person who died once? That's my question right now on the side of Kaipi, or Liquid, and it was Fluff and stuff. He gets our feeder award for Liquid, but in all seriousness, what a great performance for Liquid in Game 1. They come out, they dominate, and, you know, I played devil's advocate, Lumi. I made the argument that, you know, maybe you could pick the Lone Druid and punish their aggressive tri-lane. I was wrong. I was wrong very badly at that, and, well, in the end, Liquid, they show you can pick PL Kodal, that's one thing, but you have to have the execution to make it work, and Kaipi, the same story as that Game 3 versus Fnatic. The draft was there, perhaps, but the execution, definitely not.
Yeah, if you win every single lane with your tri-lane and your top solo, then it's a very fine lineup. We see many teams win with it, but you gotta win those lanes, and that's not what happened. So Team Liquid steamroll out of control. MVP for me this game, of course, Korok. Look at his score, 9-0-8. Can't ask for a better game in 21 minutes of gameplay. We're gonna go to Game 2, where Kaipi, they got their backs on the wall. They will be eliminated if they lose 1 more.
It's a tough situation for Kaipi right now, looking at those brackets, like Lumi said. Well, Kaipi is playing Team Liquid. That one thing has not been updated yet from Liquipedia, but I'll try and get it sorted out before Game 2. But it is going into Game 2. Kaipi, down 0-1 in the best of 3. If they lose this next game, they're done. And their hopes of going to the LAN finals of the G1 League end with that match. If they win, then it goes to a deciding Game 3 for Liquid. They want to slam the door in Kaipi's face. Can they do it? We'll find out next.